Hello everyone, and welcome to the introductory video for the Linux for Windows Admins course. This is a series of videos that you can find on my YouTube channel, and I will create also a playlist for them so you can find them easily in that playlist in the correct order. Also, all of the code and presentations that you will see during these videos can be downloaded from my GitHub page, which is linked in the description of every video. If you enjoyed this video or any other video that I do, then please leave a like, maybe also share them. And if you want to be notified of new uploads, then please also subscribe to my channel. So let's talk about this series. Why did I make it? So this series is meant for people that are either used to manage Windows Server and know some basic things like the file system or the event viewer or services, processes and so on. Or it's meant also for people that have basic IT knowledge and just want to learn the very basics of Linux. And I emphasize the basics part because in this series of videos I will only cover this. You will not be an expert in Linux after you go through these videos. If you want to learn more, then I highly encourage you to read and watch more advanced videos. But as far as the basics go, I think this series should be okay for you. And with regards to myself, I am also a beginner in Linux. So I started learning Linux a couple of weeks before I started this series. And basically this series is done by me, so I can also have an account of the commands that I learned and what I actually know this far. When I want to go maybe in more advanced topics, at least I have some videos and some code with the basics at hand. And of course, maybe you think Linux is too difficult or it's hard to learn, but I just want to tell you that if I could learn it, me, a Windows admin, a dedicated Windows admin, that I'm pretty sure that you can learn it also. So let's take a minute or two and talk about what Linux is. And Linux is a Unix-like family of operating systems that all use the Linux kernel that was developed by Linus Torvalds. The Linux operating systems are packaged in distributions, and this is where a lot of confusion for many people starts to happen, because there are a lot of Linux distributions out there, and maybe some people don't even know with what to start. The basic idea is that distributions contain the Linux kernel, and this is the Linux kernel. It's not many kernels, it's only one. And the difference comes after the kernel with the tools and libraries put over it, because each distribution can have its own tools and libraries. For example, a distribution can have a tool for software management, and another one can have another tool for software management. This makes it so that some commands work on some distributions but not on others. So this is what you need to take care of when you look at tutorials or you see sites with commands to do different things, that your distribution is compatible with the one given in that tutorial. And here are a couple of distributions that I'm sure you will hear about if you dive into the Linux world. The first three, starting with Red Hat Enterprise Linux, are basically from the same family of operating systems. So a lot of the commands that you will run on one will work on the other. The first one, Red Hat, is an enterprise OS, and this is paid, so you can download it for free. But the other two are freely downloadable and you can use them. Now the other two, Debian and Ubuntu, are part of their own family of operating systems, so if you learn one you should also know the other. But a lot of the tools like package management or network management don't really work on the other distributions that I put here. So this is where the demarcation line comes in. You have to choose a family of OSs that you want to work with. And in this series of videos I will work with Ubuntu, and I will use the version 20.04. So if you want to run the commands and make sure that they are working as they are working for me, then you can get this ISO image and you can rest easily and go through the rest of the videos in this course. And if you are coming from the Windows world, I want to mention also some differences between these two operating systems. Now these are not very technical differences, these are just some everyday things that you will run across and at first might be a little daunting or may seem strange to you. The first thing, to get it out of the way, Linux is open source, Windows is closed source because it is developed and sold by Microsoft. So the only way to get the Windows source code is to hack the Microsoft servers, while the Linux source code is freely available. The first thing that you have to take care of when using Linux is the fact that Linux is a file-based OS while Windows is an API-based OS. This means that in Linux everything is a file. Directories are files, files are files, devices are files, and so on. In Windows things are a little different. For example, we have the registry, we have WMI, we have the device manager, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Now, one thing that will give you headaches if you are not careful is the fact that Linux is case sensitive and Windows is not. This means that in Linux the word Tom with a capital T is different than the word Tom with all letters capital letters. While in Windows that is the same word, it doesn't care about the casing of the letters. And one more thing to take care of when you navigate through the file system is the fact that the slash used in Linux to separate files and directories is different than the one used in Windows, as you can see here in this presentation. And here is basically what we will cover in this course. We will talk about the Linux installation and the OS setup and OS tools. We will cover during some videos different tools that you can use. We are going to see how to work with files, how to work with directories, how to read files, how to open them, how to write them, and so on. We are going also to see how to get help, how to find commands, how to see what commands do, because this is a very important thing in Linux. When you run a command, you can also read the help for it to see what is available to you, what parameters you can use. We are going to work with users and with groups, because this is an important thing. Also see how to apply security for users and groups to files. We are going to talk about software management, install and uninstall programs, and go over some storage topics that you will need when you work with Linux. So if this sounds interesting to you, then I encourage you to watch the videos that will come after this introductory one. Please like them if you enjoy them or if they are helpful for you. Subscribe to the channel to be notified, and thanks a lot for watching.